phenomenon. And I remember the footwork and some of those albums, it was just out of this world. It was just out of this world. I think the only one that does that kind of footwork, that did that kind of footwork, was Jeffrey Daniels. And the two of them,
Shalamar,
the two of them were. They actually learned how to do the footwork.
And I was going to say they were good friends.
You actually learned. So that guy was just in a class of his own. Just like we said, off the wall, just rock the world in 1979, and for like 2 years. And it wasn't somebody that released an album every year or something like that.
Yes. He always took his time to release albums, and whenever the album came out, they were massive.
And then you remember Thriller. Monumental pieces, you can call them.
All right, it's from the Dailies on Solutions 93.9 FM. This is the program where we get to take you through the trending stories in today's national dailies, and I have about 4 newspapers with me this morning, and as expected, the pages of the papers are loaded this morning. Top on the list, Edo has a new governor.
Edo has a new governor. And Baseki completed his 8
Monday.
years in office.
Okpebolo, if you're still having the picture of Obaseki as the new governor in your mind,
it has expired.
It's time to update that picture because Edo State has a new governor. He was sworn in yesterday. Let's take a listen.
Bring it down. Hi. Senator Monday Okpebolo, do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to
the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God. Oath of office of governor. I,
Senator Monday Okpebolo,
do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the law, and always in the interest of the sovereignty, integrity, solidarity, well-being, and prosperity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That I will strive to preserve the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy contained in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That I will exercise the authority vested in me as governor so as not to impede or prejudice the authority lawfully invested.
Okay, a short clip of the oath of office being taken by the new governor of Edo State in the person of Senator Monday Okpebolo. But so many Nigerians have been reacting to that oath of office taken on its own. Some Nigerians are pointing to the fact that the new governor seemed jittery even while taking the oath of office, and some will say that he looks so unprepared for that big task, which was visible in his countenance all through the ceremony yesterday.
Edo State, that state, that vibrant state, vibrant people, and the beginning where the South begins. I don't know the carry last.
I don't know that has been the saying.
I don't know the carry last. I might think questions about the first thing I'm going to say about the oath of office is that there's an oath of office and there's also an oath of allegiance. The American president, when he takes oath of office, it takes barely 1 minute. Our oath of office is taken, and then you take the oath, the winding oath of allegiance. That one is supposed to be in the file that the governor or the president will sign. Will be the first thing he will sign when he takes office, in the governor or the presidency. I think it is unnecessary. And then the way of Pueblo, some of these things, just like you said, when psychoanalysts, when they take a look at this, they can tell us a number of things.
Yes.
If this is not a stand-alone thing, you can juxtapose with other videos, clips, and other things that are
especially during the rally, during the campaign, electioneering campaigns and everything. I mean, the way he was visibly not composed in most of... And at the point, it was alleged that it's like other people were speaking on his behalf then.
I'm trying to...
It took time before he began to address the public, even during the...
it was under pressure.
There was a particular time
when
he said he promised insecurity that went viral too.
And I now also recall the final mega rally where the APC bigwigs were there. They were anxious. I went through the clip over and over again. They were anxious, but on that monumental moment, that big stage, the man comported himself. And I saw that the governor of Imo, the chairman of Progressive, he was, when the man was, able to string his words together, they were nodding and saying, I mean, they were nodding and saying, I mean,
like
that was a big deal.
I think they
were relieved.
They were. Is it relieved or they were even a bit impressed, kind of? They were impressed by
the man that
his delivery.
So, you see, I'm trying to understand. You don't jump on the senatorial seat. You must have been something. And then, has it not been, even if you're not speaking on the open floor, I mean, you'll be in committees. Will you not be adding value to committee work? I mean, will you not be holding meetings? Even if you hold the meetings and you speak in your language or pidgin or whatever, is this stage fright for,
a governor?
I mean, for God's sake.
Do you notice that he was mispronouncing some of the words, even during, despite the fact that he was reading from his text?
Let's give him benefit of doubt.
Okay, I just wish
the anxiety of the
big task
of the big day.
Okay, big day.
Yeah.
Okay, we wish all the Edo people.
I hope it is not the burden of office weighing the man down already.
Well, the best we can do is to wish Edo people
certainly
a very wonderful time
certainly,
with Monday Okpebolo as the governor of that state.
People supported Moshe Omole. What is that one? Obaseki. Because people say, underdog, why do you want to oppress him? And when the underdog became something else, they dealt him. So, Okpebolo, the ball is in your court. Edo people are watching.
All right, let's go to other stories now. On the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, and virtually all the newspapers have that story this morning. It's about the minimum wage. Earlier this week we talked about the organized labor giving an ultimatum to all the state governors and their labor unions in different states that if any governor doesn't start to implement the payment of the new minimum wage
they are going to have
by
a
December
rough
1. December 1, they should go on
State
strike.
governors will have a rough Christmas.
Is it the state governors that have rough Christmas or the workers?
The workers will be ready. When you are going to war, you are ready.
Let me read this to you on the front page of Vanguard newspaper. Now, minimum wage, states in panic mode over NLC's December 1 strike notice. And looking at the riders, which I found very interesting, only 12 states implementing new wage. I thought we had 36 states, right?
Yeah, 36.
Now, only
and
12
you have
states.
FCT, you can make it 37.
Only 12 states so far implementing new wage. 24 states yet to implement. 10 states remain silent on implementation. 7 states failed to give commencement date. 6 states promised to pay end of November. Now,
This is a solid.
I mean, looking at I like the breakdown.
Yes,
The
this is
breakdown.
where we stand.
So, how many days to December 1 now?
This is December. This is November 13.
Okay.
So
we have
another
barely-
30 days. December 1.
It's December 1 now, that's what I'm saying.
December
Now, you
1.
said that the governors will be having rough Christmas. Is it the governors that will be having rough Christmas now? Don't forget that the governors already have everything they need for sweet Christmas.
It's not about money, though. If you don't have peace of mind.
And don't forget, no work, no pay too, which is hanging
You see.
on the head
Let me remind you
of
that
the workers.
Let me remind you that when we started talking about negotiating this, the effective date, the effective date is now June 1, according to the presidency.
Yes.
So it was supposed to be 1st of May, but that was when the original April. I think that was when the last act lapsed. But I think they said July or June now. And then I remember asking NLC and TUC leaders in Oyo State. They said, after it becomes an act, then the battles will move to the
To the states.
and that they are going to tackle any state that does it. You see, they call this thing minimum wage. Minimum wage. Oyo is paying above. Lagos was already paying above. Edo
Obaseki
had
approved
started
it
playing
even before it was implemented nationally.
So Zamfara just started paying
30,000 naira at the last
so
Salah.
we are going to be asking questions. And are the union leaders in those states? You see, why are the governors not proactive? You cannot stay silent. You understand? You can't stay silent. It's a law. That one does not need domestication. You understand? That we are not going to domesticate it here. You understand? It's a national minimum wage. So, even if you can pass your own at the state level, but it has to tally, minimum wise
figure,
another half. Now, nobody does that. Why are the state governors, why are they not proactive? And believe you me, even if you're unable, if you say you are unable to, you have to be proactive. You have to, you need the confidence of, the labor leaders. If you think you can pocket or buy or manipulate the labor leaders, what about the workers? They can cause trouble. You understand? Look, they can even remove their leadership. You know, some leaders, the union leaders, the moment they are appointed into cabinet as the one in Oyo State, I don't know whether it's back there now. So is it back? I think it's back. You know, he was labor leader.
Yes.
And when crisis, brewed over in Oyo State, when they called a meeting and the governor too went on there and lambasted labor and everybody, and then union of pensioners led by Baba, I've forgotten the general secretary general, the MD of pensioners. When so do we said, just stop talking. Just sit down there. Don't open your mouth to say anything here. Before my labor leader, because it has become a part of government. They say, don't say one word from you. Just sit down there and be another. So people should remember that tables do turn. And tables do turn in ways that you may not imagine it. So, tell everybody about that. You hold the governor of Oyo State. I'm not saying it's perfect, but at least, worker friendly.
At least we should give him a thumbs up for that. I mean,
Yeah.
kudos to that.
He has his own.
And not just the workers, even the retirees.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they're
Yes.
workers too. My cousin's wife was telling me yesterday. I saw her somewhere, but it was in transit. She was in transit. I was in transit. So I called her later and I said, "What are you doing around that place?" She said she lost her ID card, health insurance ID card, and then went on to tell me that, I said, "You are on health insurance?" I said, "Yes." The state government placed us on retirees, placed us on health insurance. they were compelled. They were compelled. Know that, because at
To
that
be
age,
on that platform.
Yeah, because at that age, age-related health
You
issues.
need,
So
need
they were
such.
compelled onto it, and then they deducted their money from it. And then the woman told me that the deductions was reversed after about 6 months or so. So they are now on health insurance, retirees free of charge.
in your state.
Yes,
That's a big kudos
at least
to
the
the governor.
basic, the basic insurance, not the comprehensive, but at least the basics. Because paying out of pocket for health, my dear brother, hey, I recall one particular, what do you call that? I don't want to mention, but from 5,000, I think jumped to 25,000. So, in that regard. But states that are not, yes, it's not only the civil servants, the ministry departments and agencies that constitute the state. But just like you said, and I agree, you see monies are going to their pockets regularly, provide stability in the polity. Stability in the markets. When the markets are not restive, it's all out.
Now, looking at the strike, it's not going to be a national strike. It's going to be at the state level.
Domesticated.
How effective have this domesticated
No, the
strike
conditions
actions
at the
been?
state level will determine how it pans out. Some states will have to fight. Some states will just have to negotiate. Some states will have to grind it out with their state governors. Some states, you see, that is the one thing about this country. One thing about this country, when there are some states, you understand, that these things, there are some states, maybe the workers will not even seriously press for it. There are no active unions. The unions are just there in name.
And not forgetting
In name only.
The allegations that some of these union leaders are in the pockets of the governors. Looking at Zamfara State, all these years, they just started paying 30,000 naira minimum wage this Salah of 2024.
Have you forgotten that in Oyo State?
And they have labor leaders in that state.
They do. Have you forgotten that there were times in Oyo State that labor leaders, especially the NLC, were punished anytime they confronted the state? They would push them out of Oyo State. So, if you are,
I remember.
Push them out of and push them to one. And I think,
outskirts.
have you forgotten that in Lagos State, there was a time labor leaders were sacked? They were not sabotaging. They were doing their jobs. As union leaders fighting on
representing
the welfare.
the welfare and the demands of their followers.
So, a leader, but that's one of the sacrifices leadership entails. So, in some states, they will just call the leaders. Look, it's bad though. You are elected a leader, and then you compromise. You just compromise. You just collect money, and people will know. That's the terrible thing about when you compromise, because the leaders are not talking, and the person that knows that want to
bank.
I recall that in the days of Oshiomhole as national NLC president, they would threaten strike. God bless that woman, so Remi Oyo. Tomorrow is strike, midnight or 1 a.m. The woman will call a friend of mine and say, Boyega, Oshio Baba just left the villa now. Portfolio méjì ló gbé, briefcase méjì ló gbé lọ.
Imagine. Well, I'm not surprised actually, because those period now, I remember that most of us workers there will be getting set for
Only
the
to wake
commencement
up.
of the strike.
Only to wake up.
Even some schools would have told their students, don't come tomorrow. Only for you to wake up early morning and breaking news, NLC has called off the strike, and you begin to wonder what went.
The woman will say, Boyega, Oshio Baba just left now. I said,
with 2 portfolios.
You can interpret it anyhow you like.
Comrade, let's leave that story.
The one that baffled everybody was when Obasanjo was re-elected. And you know, I can't forget that cake.
I saw the cake, and Osho Baba was there too.
And people say, what's Osho doing in the midst? Osho say, they will say he's a saboteur who wants to truncate democracy. I said, we hear you.
Comrade, let's leave the labor issue for now. Okay, let's go to this particular story on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Dangote, Ipman members load petrol at 990 naira per litre.
Yeah.
Should we expect a little relief with that? I mean,
this one won't bring any relief.
It won't bring any relief yet. It's still
990. That's 10 naira short of it.
The 1,000 naira.
I bought PMS day before yesterday at 1,005 naira late the day before yesterday night, and I've been buying 1,200 from that same location. I was surprised. I was actually surprised, you know. So if they could sell for 1,005 naira, where are they getting it from? They cannot be getting it at 990 and sell for 1,005. 1,005 naira. They can't.
They can't, yeah.
They can't. So, Dangote is saying if you're buying bulk, it's less than this.
Okay.
Yes, they are buying bulk. I mean, the Ipman will deposit.
Definitely.
I mean, not individuals. You never can tell if there's some under the.
Even in this deal.
They are putting out. I guess they are putting this figure out for public consumption.
Or just for public consumption. There is more to.
You see, there
is more to what we see in the papers, right?
Murky, oily things.
All right, another story now. A lot of Nigerians have come against the World Bank and the IMF policies. I mean, the advices they've been given the country. I was shocked when I saw this too.
And
I knew you'd be shocked because I was shocked too. Now, on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, Vanguard, World Bank, IMF determined to destroy our varsity system, ASU. And I want to see the account of another newspaper. On the Nigerian Tribune, we have this one saying, ASU links World Bank, IMF to policies destroying public varsities. I mean, looking at this critically,
I paid attention to it because the role of universities. Now, when I say universities, not just universities, tertiary education in the development of society. What role do they play? Research and learning. We know that education is it. You understand? Education liberates people. It is about the mind. You understand? It is what you can see with your mind's eye that you can actually bring into reality. You understand? And you can see Jack if you are in this world that in which we are. And it is when you see education in Nigeria, we think we are behaving as if education is about book. You understand? When a teacher comes into a class, that is why I keep saying teaching is not a profession. It is more than that.
It is a calling.
It is a calling. If a teacher stands before you and is able to create, open the mind's eyes of the students, maybe just 10 out of 20 or 25 in the class, and make them to see, not see with these eyes, but, and they say what you see. When they say what you see is what you get, it's not what you see with your naked eyes, So, even at lower levels. Now, it's about creativity. You understand? It's about capacity. You understand? So, that was why I was alarmed, that the value of education. And look at our universities. I keep asking, look, the town and the gown interfacing research outputs in universities. What is the application of those research outputs to society? Universities are to do R&D. You know now R&D. researcher, how much are we committing to research and development? Look at Dangote. Look at what Dangote will need to maintain that massive refinery. In what ways are universities of technology, you understand, research and all of that, how much role are they going to play, in that regard? Everything will be imported, Abi. Nigeria Railway has probably the biggest fabricating plant in Africa. There is nothing they can't fabricate. You understand? So that was what got me scared. That education, if that can be truncated, and if you are withdrawing subsidy, and education is becoming a little less accessible.
Now, what is the role of the World Bank and IMF in all this?
Policies. Encouraging removal of subsidy, and you are somehow limiting access. When you limit access and curtail access, some people cannot go to attend universities because of accessibility, affordability, not availability anymore now.
But the World Bank keeps saying that that's the best option, which is workable for any country to survive to survive at our times.
Opinion. That's an opinion. Look, universities in advanced countries, they get their funding not from government. I mean, the big chunk of their funding comes from society. That is another big challenge in Nigeria. The people who claim to have money in Nigeria, what has Dangote endowed? Which professorial chairs? Which R&D is he backing? Should Dangote not fund universities to do research relevant to his industry? And you are creating jobs. What about the sustainability of those jobs? What about the deepening and the expansion of those jobs? You understand? Go and bring thousands of Indians. You understand? Go to that place. It is just that one has just been kept under. There are hundreds and hundreds of Indians working in that place. And top echelon. You understand? Industry, universities, research. When ASU went on strike, government said we're not going to pay you. University people say, why? They say you are not working. They say
no work, no pay.
They say that's marks of ignorance. What we do here, teaching, research, and community service. The only one we have stopped is
going to the
teaching,
classes to teach.
research, and community service.
Still going on.
It's going on. And you say you are not going to pay us because we are not teaching. That's marks of ignorance. So those who they do not, so therefore, can you imagine that they are clueless about what the universities are doing? That's
It's so obvious.
it is. I mean, that is what you see me, because when something happened in the university where I work, something was about to happen. I said, this university, they won't move at this place. Academic independence, they call it. You are at liberty to.
But one thing is to give advice. Another one is to take the advice and you see that this advice, the option you've taken is not yielding fruit, and back out.
See, it is about priorities. It is what you prioritize. Education. You see, government people leaders have to sit down.
This education thing is just one of the receiving one of the factors. I mean, one of the aspects on the receiving end of the removal of this subsidy and all the advice being given by the World Bank and IMF to the country, which the country is adopting.
Yes,
that's just
but
one angle.
you cannot adopt all these things wholesale. That's why leadership is about vision. There must be a vision. Even the world where there is no vision, the people will perish. Look, where do you envision this country to be? It's not because you're going to spend 8 years. What you are doing is to chart a course for the future. Your own role is 4 years at a go, another 4 years max, totaling 8. But you must envision beyond that.
Your tenure.
It takes vision. But politicians, you know the problem with politicians? Politicians want to do things that will be seen. Now.
But even talking about things that should be seen now, shouldn't they be positive things that will be, that people will be like, oh, okay, he's actually doing the right thing?
You have to prioritize education. I keep telling people, the things Obafemi Awolowo did, where are the roads Obafemi Awolowo constructed in the 1950s? Where are the roads now? Can you see any one of them? Where are the bridges? If you see any one of those bridges now, those are the bridges that if two vehicles cannot even ride on the bridge together. No, is that what Awolowo is remembered for? Education, health. Those are the things. Those are the two things. And he built NTA. He built. No. Those are not the things he's remembered for. Health and education. And these are critical. It's the health of the people. You understand? You want to educate a physically unhealthy person. You understand? And health is not just medicine and all of that. Health, health is in levels. The bump that you must prevent. You understand? And then primary and all of that. Primary. So it is about vision. But they say politicians think about the next election. I keep telling you that Awolowo was not. That one was not a politician.
Even if you're thinking about the next election, is it not about making people happy so that you can secure their votes?
No, they
get their votes.
They know they can always turn
when you come back again.
No, they have their own strategy of making us happy. In this battle, were they not distributing granite and gari in packages? Throwing it at people. They know that we have very short memories.
So they're leveraging on that.
They have studied us now. It started with Babangida. Babangida was the first person that did a profiling of society and the monetization. You know now that was when monetization of everything. They know. They ride roughshod over people for 3 years. They are back the last year. There was one guy that was representing the federal constituency in which I reside in Bodija. And the man came back after 3 years, silent 3 years. And then he started erecting.
I like the way you put the silent 3 years.
And then he started erecting street lights. And then people were happy.
So silent 3 years means he did nothing, absolutely nothing. You didn't feel his impact.
We didn't feel nothing. And then he started, and then the nauseating part, they start branding the street lights. Not even facilitated though. It was as if that he wants doing it from that. Whereas
putting his name on the
committees where they belong to, that's where they are getting the resources. And then you know what they are calling budget party. I mean committee of works. I will say go and put street lights on the committee of works. Go and put street lights in my constituency. Committee of science and technology. Go and open a microfinance. That's what they're leveraging on. Okay, why didn't you start doing that from year one? Why do you have to wait to the third year?
It's still from the Dailies and Solutions in 93.9 FM.
They spent the first 3 years taking care of themselves.
Okay, taking a look at different stories on the papers this morning. On the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, I have another sector, which is the receiving end. We know we just spoke about the education being on the receiving end of these policies. Now we have the manufacturing sector now. Manufacturers groan as Naira float deepens Forex crisis. And the riders under that highlights soaring exchange rate at 1,900 Naira per dollar as key driver of sector's challenges. And the second rider says 16 major firms incur 792 billion Naira loss.
You see, these things are worrisome.
And if 16 major firms are incurring this huge amount of loss, are they not towing the path of folding up, leading to mass unemployment again?
I don't understand the indices that the managers of the economy are using. And they now come to the conclusion that things are looking up.
They keep saying, I was listening to the Minister of Budget and is it Edu? He was saying something on the news maybe 2 days ago, saying that the economy is picking up, things are taking shape and everything. And I begin to wonder as a Nigerian that where are these things?
Apparently, one first thing that this one will lead to is production will slow down.
Remember yesterday we said that even the things they've produced, they are not selling them.
It is costing them money to keep it, piling up more. We see production will slow down. Meanwhile, our problem is that we are not producing enough. Consumption is actively on. All this floating of the naira that has resulted in so much money going around now. Money going to states, money going to federal, the money they share. Huh? What are they using it for? What are they using it for? How much of it is going into productive activities? Either at the federal, the state, or the local level. You see, they say that in an economy where construction industry is very active, where the construction industry is active, people are in employment. You understand? It might not be a permanent employment. You understand? Because if a kilometer of road is to be constructed, they will do drainage. That will be cement. You can imagine. Don't let me just go on. You can imagine the number of things, industries that will be construction, things that, and then the people that they will employ, and those people will eat, right? You know, and then the food. Understand? Transportation. I know. You know, I was speaking to a manager of a construction company that is ongoing, and I said, you know, they keep working there anyway. They're not getting money, but they say they keep the maintenance. But you know, that is work going on there. How much construction do you see going on in Ibadan? Except for the circular road, and I don't know how much activity is currently going on there. How much construction do you see going on? When construction is not, you know, there was a time when construction booms, that one can assure, you know. So how much of and most of the construction that we will be driven by government. You know, Nigeria's economy is government driven, because it's government that. So all of this production slows down. People now are just staying afloat because the cost of education. Keeping your children in school now and providing for those children. Don't talk of yourself. Because parents are not number 1 or 2 or 3 now. It is the children, the family first, probably even your extended family before you think of yourself. Okay, after that, you don't think of yourself. How many people that have SUVs drive them anymore? That's the only vehicle they have. How often do they drive them anymore? Power generators in homes. How many times do they use it in a week anymore? You see, so when they say the economy, the president has persistently told us that that's the price we have to pay. No problem.
No problem about that.
No problem about that. But what is the plan? You need the buy-in of the people, active buy-in, so that all hands can be on the deck. But we have no clue.
And at least we should have a clue about how long
and the plan.
We have to. I mean, sometimes you begin to wonder when Yemi Cardoso, the central bank governor, and Wale Edun, they come up and say, okay, economy is taking shape, they are getting it right and everything. In the midst of this, then you begin to wonder on what is the data they are getting, they are working on to believe that things are taking shape that we Nigerians on the receiving end are not seeing.
When the president went
look
to
at manufacturers complaining.
It's scary, you know.
16 major firms incurred this so much debt.
It's scary. Then the president went to Saudi Arabia and the people are criticizing him. I kept smiling to myself. That people should know that the president went to Saudi Arabia because he's looking for money. That's the only reason why the president went to that summit. Soft
loan.
That's the only reason why the president. You will soon see the result now. Just why did you think they went to do that?
All these loans all these loans over the years, where are these monies going?
Nothing bad about loans.
Nothing bad about them, but what are they being spent on?
That is the question we should ask. Are they productive loans? You take loan to go and build Kano Maradi highway, and the president tells us that his cousins are there. The man said so now.
Yeah, I remember he said so. So because his cousins are there.
No, where they provide some arguments about business, but let's have the figures and facts. You build a railway from Itakpe to Wari. That line was designed because of the steel plant, not for passenger. It was designed because of the steel plant, because you cannot put steel on the highway. If you see trucks carrying billet from Lagos, they cannot carry more than 5. a whole 40-ton truck or something, they can't carry more than 5 or 6 of those billets. You can imagine how heavy they are. So you go and borrow money to build Wari Takwe when the steel plant itself is not working. You want to build Lagos Ibadan rail line. You take the rail line from Ibadan, you do Abeokuta, you spend 3 hours. When Lagos Ibadan highway expanded, will take me 40-50 minutes. I'll go now. I'm not going on leisure now. He's training about leisure. I'm not going on excursion now. I'll go and sit down in 3 hours, and then you drop me at Ido. And
so most of these projects they spend this monies on, this loan monies on, are not viable.
Let's go and ask Railway Corporation how much they're making from Lagos Ibadan now, and how much they borrowed
to execute that project.
Yes. You know how they are powering those things? They are using diesel generators. Diesel generators. Diesel. You know how much diesel costs? To power those heavy things from Ibadan to Lagos. How many liters of... We should ask them questions. How many liters of diesel we will power those things? I know they are not long. They are not as long as the other ones before. How much diesel?
But you keep saying that we should ask questions, but there is a particular body, SERAP, that has been asking questions. And interestingly, that body has been, how do I put it now, is going through lawsuit by the federal government for defamation of character. Because SERAP has been coming out to say, okay, federal government, you shouldn't do that. You remember we said on this program that there was a time that DSS raided the office of SERAP.
I remember.
Because SERAP has been one body that has been asking questions,
questioning. A pain in their neck.
I mean, asking questions, but now I have it AI others to FG drop defamation suit against SERAP. And you say we should keep asking questions.
Are we going to stop asking questions?
But SERAP is asking questions, and look at what SERAP has found.
Let the courts decide. That's what the courts are for. Arbitration.
But should this be practiced under democracy?
Why? Democracy does not mean lawlessness or, it's
but
liberty.
There should be freedom to, at least, to ask questions.
But it must be within the ambit of the law. That's it. That's why they call it rule of law.
Okay.
It must be under the ambit of the law, whatever you do.
Okay.
No matter how well motivated you are in the interest of society, it must be under the ambits of the law. So that's why we say the rule of law is crucial even to guarantee our liberty. The rule of law. And the rule of law, of course, you cannot say that for Nigeria.
Okay, we cannot say that for Nigeria.
No.
Why?
It's obvious now. Somebody is accused, not just accused. There is video evidence that somebody assaulted and insulted and dealt blows and slaps on someone, and that the person turns around to apologize. You wonder, and the matter is in court. we'll see what will happen to that matter in court now. So it will be struck out.
Okay. Another issue that caught my attention this morning is the issue concerning the Archbishop of Canterbury that resigned yesterday. I mean, for some time now, the man has been engulfed in a crisis. I mean, a kind of allegation of child abuse. I mean, in the midst of that, he did something very honorable, resigning.
No, he lied. Yeah, he lied.
He lied about it.
Yes, he lied, and the lie he told that he was caught. These things that we say, they don't go away, especially in this digital age in which we are.
I'm still coming to the things to the cue to be taken from people in position of power or position of authority in Africa, because we hardly see things like
it was standard Watergate matter.
Issue. Okay.
What were they asking? Did the president know? And when did he know? You understand? The man claimed that he didn't know, and records eventually showed that he actually knew. You understand? When he was claiming he didn't know, he was already aware. So he was caught in the web of his own lies, and he did. He couldn't have survived it now.
But the issue was more of a case of serial child abuse.
Abuse, yeah, which even worsens it. You know the church. You know the Anglican Church alone. The Catholic Church has its own serious problems. Unending. In the name of God, so many evil things are done. Not only done, they are even covered up. And some, the church has been involved in a lot of scandalous things. So, the man he couldn't have survived it.
So even resigning wasn't, shouldn't be seen as something honorable. Looking at it from the African context, I mean, the way our leaders in position of authorities handle such situations. You just mentioned somebody openly slapped an individual.
And the man is begging.
And the man is now begging.
He was even preaching unity.
Imagine that to have happened maybe in a developed country like the US or...
You will have departed Congress.
Willingly.
The constitution will say...
That's my point here now. Cues to be taken from such.
You see...
When you are found culpable or you are involved in this kind of thing.
I met one man yesterday. An old man. It's about standards. It's standards that applied. What the Archbishop of Canterbury, it's about standards. The minimum standards. That is unacceptable. And if it's not acceptable, you vacate. You no longer qualify. You no longer have the trust of the people. You vacate. How can you continue to occupy office when you no longer have the trust of the people? You just vacate. So it's about standards. So what standards do we have?
But we have many African leaders who don't have.
It is about standards in Nigeria.
I heard of a particular this last Salah Ido Kabir we had. There was a particular member of the National Assembly that went home and he was stoned by people of his constituent. He was chased, and there was a viral video to that effect. Now, if he tried to be over there, what would he have done? Because now people that voted you into power have lost trust in you, and that man is still sitting, maybe this morning, at the floor of the Senate.
How did he get there? A member of House of Reps once told me, not in Lagos, in this Oyo State, of how he got his ticket, and he told me, I think it was, it's no longer there. He ended his term in 2023. And he told me that to get to the House of Reps, he spent about 400 million. So if a man spent 400 million in 2019,
how much will it cost now?
Will he not recoup his money? I do not know why anybody will go and spend 400 million
to win an election.
To go and do what? Yeah? You want to represent people.
But a lot of money is involved in electioneering,
Everywhere in the world.
Everywhere in the world. We heard how much Kamala campaign team.
Yes. But you know those ones, even if money is donated to you, you spend $10 out of it, you go to jail. The son of Jesse Jackson went to jail.
For buying a wristwatch. Just a wristwatch from that.
Do we account for electioneering campaign funds here? Don't. Even when INEC was, there was a time INEC was giving parties money. Do we account for? It is about standards.
All right, comrade, because of our time.
What standards do we have?
Because we're talking about elections now. We have a few days to Ondo Giba. We talked about the Edo Giba. Now, Ondo Giba too. And on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, Ondo poll, IPAC tasks INEC, security agencies, on neutrality. I mean, when a body like IPAC is now urging the supposed umpire to be neutral, is that not giving us a kind of a red flag? Because I didn't hear such during the last presidential election in America. I mean, when IPAC is now telling the supposed umpire of an election to maintain neutrality.
You see, sometimes I hold opinions that may not be particularly popular. INEC is the umpire. I think INEC is even important, number one. INEC is important. They conduct registration, they conduct everything. Now, what is INEC supposed to do?
As we wrap up.
Yeah. INEC conducts elections. INEC hires, INEC, security agencies, INEC hires them. Ad hoc staff, INEC hires them. And the process of hiring. Every party, major party, gets their own people to be registered as ad hoc staff and then to be located in key places. That's how it goes, though.
Is that the official?
That is how it goes, not the official. I have been involved. When hiring of ad hoc staff starts, you have not the rec has no control over that.
I once heard it some time ago, but I pretended.
You heard this?
I heard it, but I pretended that probably.
Now, politicians have specific locations that are critical to them for strategic electoral reasons. They jostle to get their own, either to frustrate the other party or to ensure their own free ride. You understand? It's still strategic. To forestall other. If you are weak in an area, you get your person there to frustrate and forestall the other party from having a field day. Or your own comfort zone.
So that is the role to play there.
And so they ensure that the INEC people post their own people there.
And this is what for the umpire.
So how does REC get to know that? Thousands of ad hoc staff. So when they start accusing REC, you understand? So how does REC? Except when the whole thing is compiled, then the REC says, shuffle them. And then how will REC? There are more important jobs for the REC to supersede. So that is how all this thing goes. But the important thing is, let there be even. So PDP has been accusing APC of planning to rig. But you see, even on an even ground, I don't think it's not about PDP now. I don't think Ajayi can win that election. Ajayi's thing has come home to roost. He sabotaged PDP, and PDP members are sabotaging him
too. When he needs them most now.
And now, when he left APC, he came to PDP. He lost to Jegede. Of course, he would lose to Jegede now. Rather than supporting Jegede, he went to ZLP. He now came back to take the ticket. All the people that matter in PDP, they have left him. Iroko, that his mentor, has left him and is supporting.
They have left him behind. All right, let me take this.
And you should know better. That is what surprises me.
I have these 2 comments here. Ima Apasubi. Nigeria appears not to be ready for the floating of the Naira by its leaders. Doing so without the necessary mechanism to support it only leaves it at the whim of the stronger dollar. The depreciating Naira, the depreciating rate is alarming, and its consequences on the manufacturing sector weakening. Access to manufacturing materials have become more difficult than ever. Cost of production keeps going up. Prices would continue to soar. Concerned authorities should stop killing the Naira if they don't want the people to believe that it is a deliberate policy to favor them and others who have so much money outside and are bringing them into change handsomely. Okay, the last one I would like to take, Murino Akim. It says, manufacturers groan, or all sectors of the economy are Nigerians groaning, asking questions on that. Oh, well, our time is fast spent today. Comrade, thank you very much for being a part of the program today.
My pleasure. It's what you call the Winning Wednesday. I love that.
Wednesday. Yeah,
I
Winning
love
Wednesday.
that.
Okay, we're back again tomorrow morning for a fresh edition of From the Dailies on your number one radio dial, Solutions 93.9 FM. My name is Adi Damola Lafema, wishing every one of us a very fruitful day, and go out there and make it a winning Wednesday.
Listen as your day unfolds, challenge what the future holds. Try and keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. Stand up and be counted, don't be ashamed to cry. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Herald what your mother said, read the books your father read. Trying to solve the puzzles in your own sweet time. Some may have more cash than you, others take a different view. My, oh my, yeah, yeah. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Time asks no questions, it goes on without you, leaving you behind if you can stand the pace. The world keeps on spinning, can't stop it if you try to. The best part is danger staring you in the face. Whoa. Remember, listen as your day unfolds. Challenge what the future holds. Try to keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. My, oh my, eh, eh, eh. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Got to be bold, got to be bad.
all about information, education, and entertainment.
Maybe that's before now. Solutions 93.9 FM has raised the standard of radio broadcast to preferring solutions in all human angle. 939 FM, the remedy.